Forecast first, brought to you by Todd Shore's McClarty Ford.
Well, the wonderful weather pattern that we've had for the last few days may stick around for a few more hours in locations along and south of I-20, but rain and thunderstorms are on the way. And this is a pattern we'll be stuck in for the next week or so, as high temperatures will kind of push into the low 80s each day, and we'll see those slight to scattered rain chances through the day tonight and really through the upcoming weekends. We are going to see a rainy pattern here for the next 7 days or so, and I'll have an update on that a little bit later in the show. That's a check of your Todd Shore's McClarty Ford forecast first. Local Midday begins right now.
Now, from your community, local news that matters. This is NBC6 News Local Midday Update.
Good afternoon and welcome to NBC6 Local Midday Update. I'm Fernanda Hernandez. We begin today with the latest in the coronavirus pandemic. We are over in Texas with a look now at the new coronavirus numbers there. There are now 39,869 cases statewide, 1,100 deaths so far. The Texas Health and Human Services Department says more than 500,000 people have been tested for the virus and 21,000 people have recovered. And since reopening on May 1st, Texas has seen more than 12,000 new cases. Now, Governor Greg Abbott is ordering coronavirus testing for all Texas nursing home residents and staff. This after the White House urged the nation's governors to do so as deaths mount nationwide. The order came hours after Vice President Mike Pence, the leader of the coronavirus task force, told governors that it was the federal government's strong recommendation to test all nursing home residents in the U.S. in the next 2 weeks. And Community Matters and in Marshall, Texas, the East Texas Food Bank is partnering with Mission Marshall. This to offer emergency food boxes to the community. NBC6's Sydney Simone is live on site with more details. Sydney.
That's right, Fernanda. This morning, hundreds of people lined up in their cars outside of Marshall Civic Center to pick up a box of prepackaged meals. The food drive started around 10 a.m. and wrapped up at noon. Executive Director Misty Scott says the purpose was to provide food assistance to families in need during the COVID-19 crisis. There was no specific requirements needed to receive a box except a verbal request for income.
We live in a community that has a high low income rate. And times are so uncertain that if you can help someone feel like they can provide for their family's food needs, they can then cope with the other decisions that have to be made about life right now.
The National Guard assisted in giving out a total of 700 food boxes today. If a family is still in need of food or financial assistance, you are asked to reach out to the East Texas Food Bank. Live here in Marshall, Texas, Sydney Simone, NBC6 News. Back to you, Fernanda.
Thank you, Sydney. And Harvest Regional Food Bank will also be distributing 1,000 emergency food boxes to the Texarkana area residents tomorrow. That's going to be from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Four States Fair Arena, and distribution is limited to 1 box per household and 2 households per vehicle. Recipients are directed to enter from the 50th Street entrance at Highway 245 in front of Bobby Ferguson Park. Taking a look now at Louisiana, the total number of COVID-19 cases are now at more than 32,000. That's a 235 case increase since yesterday. 2,281 deaths have been reported, and in Caddo Parish there are 1,784 confirmed cases and 144 deaths. Yesterday, Governor John Bel Edwards announced Louisiana will move into the first phase of reopening the economy this Friday. Businesses included in this first phase are hair and nail salons, retailers, dine-in restaurants, theaters, zoos, and bars. All businesses operating at 25% occupancy.
The next proclamation will likely be issued on Thursday, be effective Friday, and we intend to leave it in place for 21 days, which I think is June the 5th. And so the next time that we anticipate having an announcement like today will be on Monday, June the 1st. And obviously we won't know what that announcement looks like until we get there and have the most recent data to look at.
And Governor Edwards' announcement also applies to local casinos. It can also open at no more than 25% of their capacity, and racetracks may open for races without spectators, but only if it's approved by the Louisiana Racing Commission. And Money Matters, and U.S. Representative Mike Johnson, a member of President Trump's task force for reopening America, released a statement in response to Governor Edwards' announcement on reopening the state's economy on Friday. He says, quote, "While public health must remain the chief concern, it is urgent that the state give small businesses, churches, and nonprofits a fighting chance at survival." And the move to end Louisiana's stay-at-home order comes as the coronavirus leaves the state with fewer dollars to spend. The state's income forecasting panel projects the state's funds will lose more than $1 billion. High unemployment and low gas prices are a big reason why, and economists say they've only seen trouble like this after natural disasters. And we've got good news for the Bossier City Police Department. They will receive $126,000 in grant funding from the Department of Justice. This will aid the department in purchasing 2 aeroclave machines, disinfecting solutions for those machines, protective masks, as well as upgraded radios. These aeroclave disinfectant machines will be used to clean buildings, offices, the jail, and vehicles to help prevent an outbreak of the disease. The equipment will contribute to preventing exposure to COVID-19 and meeting Bossier City's public safety needs. And Education Matters, and Wiley College and Southern University Shreveport will be among the 78 HBCUs participating in a virtual commencement featuring former President Barack Obama. It's going to take place this Saturday, and the graduation celebration will also feature Kevin Hart and musician Wycliffe Jean and many others. The virtual commencement is set to take place May 16th at 1 p.m. Over in Arkansas now, the most updated numbers have been released at noon. There are now 4,043 cases of coronavirus in the state. There have been 94 reported deaths, and during Governor Asa Hutchinson's briefing yesterday, he spoke about the downward trend they've seen in cases, but admits it is possible to see some spikes.
And then you see the downward trend, and then you see an uptick. And now you see us back on the right path again. And that's going to happen from time to time. We've reached the peak. We don't want to go back there. We're on a downward trend, and there'll be a spike every once in a while, but we're going again in the right direction.
And Governor Hutchinson also mentioned cases along southern Arkansas are up 18%. That's more than any other part of the state. He'll be giving another COVID-19 update at 1:30 p.m. this afternoon. Of course, you can watch that live on our website, arklatex-homepage.com. And over in Texarkana, Arkansas, Phase 1 is underway, and many local restaurants in Arkansas have been anticipating the reopening of dine-in services. And after being closed for over a month, some restaurants are allowing people to dine in. For Arkansas, Phase 1 means dine-in restaurants can open with a 33% occupancy rate. Restaurants we talked to say they're doing their best to monitor wait times despite the 33% limit. Food service employees encourage the community to visit dine-in services once again.
Our customers come from a lot farther away than Texarkana, but it's the locals that kept us going during all this. It's this local buying and stuff.
And all the local restaurants and businesses need the population to get back out. It's time.
And it's mandated that everyone wear personal protective equipment while waiting for their food to come to the table. And only on 6, you can now find your latest coronavirus updates in Espanol on our website. This update gives you the latest on COVID-19 here locally and what's going on in your area as it relates to the coronavirus. I will be bringing you this update completely in Spanish, and you can expect updates every Tuesday and Thursday. That's going to be on arklatex-homepage.com. And don't forget, the Keep Calm Through COVID hotline is still providing a 24/7 counseling service for those who may need help coping with COVID-19 related stress. This phone line provides trained, compassionate counselors to support you through this difficult time, and the phone number is on your screen. Stay with us. We have a full check of your forecast coming up next, and then we're going to take an in-depth look at those most affected by the coronavirus. Plus, do you want to win $1,000? Well, Mudbug Madness is making that possible for you. We're going to tell you how later in the show.
And now, your weather authority, Josh Marcis, certified the most accurate forecast in the Arklatex.
Well, welcome back. We are looking at a warm front moving across the region today, so the front will likely stall out here across the northern Arklatex. Behind that front, it will be a warm and humid day. Shreveport up to about 82 degrees. Texarkana at 76 today, and where the rain set in a little bit earlier north of I-30, we will see afternoon high temperatures in the upper 60s. Rain chances will continue off and on through the afternoon and likely into tonight as well, and this is a pattern we'll get used to as we go through the next week, as we are going to see those slight to scattered rain chances for the next 7 days. Your lows tonight not quite as cool as the past few nights. We'll see low temperatures in the 60s, and that's just due to the increase in humidity and cloud cover that we'll see across the region today. Here's a look at your Robinson and Futurecast. We have had some rain north of I-20 this morning. As we shift into the afternoon hours, what will happen? Some of those thunderstorms that died off earlier, they set out some cool air as they kind of dissipated across the region, and that will likely trigger some other showers and storms this afternoon. So you can see some of those across East Texas, close to Shreveport, maybe late afternoon, early evening, and Futurecast is buying into the idea that we will see some rainfall here south of I-20 as we continue through the overnight hours. Won't be a washout, and as of right now, doesn't look like we'll see anything as far as strong to severe storms, but of course, not only today and tonight, but for the next week or so, any of these thunderstorms that pop up will be capable of some frequent lightning as well as some brief heavy rainfall. Could have some gusty winds as well, but the expectation is next 24 to 48 hours, we will not see any severe weather across the region. We go into your Wednesday. You saw there we may see a little bit of a break, but as we head into Thursday, we are expecting a little bit of an uptick in the rainfall chances for us. As far as the overall rain, this will just take us through Saturday morning, the corridor of heavy rainfall here north of I-30, where we'll see an inch or two of rain. Again, you spread that out over the next few days, not likely to cause us any flash flooding concerns, but what will happen this weekend is we'll see those rain totals start to add up a little bit further to the south. So rain is a good bet through the weekend, kind of off and on. It won't be a washout, but a typical May weather pattern for us, where you see those kind of slight to scattered rain chances each day. Temperatures will be warmer, so those of you that topped out in the 60s today, that warm front will completely move through the region tomorrow, so we will see highs in all areas, likely in the low to mid 80s through the weekend and into next week. Overnight lows a bit warmer as well, as overnight low temperatures will be back into the 60s. That's a look at your weather forecast. Let's send it back over to Fernanda.
Thank you, Josh. And in your national headlines up to date, the coronavirus has infected more than 4 million people globally. More than 1.3 million of those cases are in the United States. And around the world, there have been close to 290,000 deaths. 81,000 of those deaths have been right here in the U.S. But how does the virus decide who will get over the disease and who won't? So far, we know that the most susceptible to the disease are those with pre-existing conditions and those who are elderly. In fact, more than 26,000 of the nation's deaths come from residents and staff in the nation's nursing homes and long-term care facilities. CNN Jason Carroll looks at what's being done now to try to protect residents and staff.
I'm horrified. My family, we're overwhelmed with guilt. That there should have been something we could have done.
Lee Rapash's 84-year-old mother, Lily, died in March at the Andover Subacute and Rehabilitation Center in New Jersey. She was never tested, but the facility was hit hard by the virus. It drew national attention after 17 bodies were discovered in a holding room there last month. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, 53% of New Jersey's COVID-19 deaths were residents of the state's long-term care facilities.
There was this virus running through a nursing facility and running through all enclosed spaces, and the nursing facility wasn't taking the correct steps to protect them.
In at least 15 states, more than half of the people who died of COVID-19 lived in long-term care facilities like nursing homes, Kaiser reported. In Pennsylvania, it was 70%, New Hampshire 72%, and Rhode Island 73%. The state of Minnesota reports 80% of coronavirus deaths there were in nursing homes.
I think all of the states they have the capacity to do it. They should be doing nursing home. That is a real vulnerability.
The White House on Monday recommended all nursing home residents and staff be tested for coronavirus. It comes more than 2 months after the nation's first major outbreak at a nursing home in Washington state that eventually killed 35 people.
It's heartbreaking and horrifying. but it's especially heartbreaking knowing that we could have done so much more. We can still do so much more to protect them.
Some nursing home advocates say given the number of fatalities, the federal government should be ordering testing, not just recommending it. And they say that's just part of what's needed.
The problems that we're seeing, the suffering, the residents dying unnecessarily, that's something that happens every day in nursing homes across the country because we permit them to operate with generally low staffing and inadequate protocols to protect residents.
Some states have called in the National Guard to help overwhelm staff at care facilities like this one on Monday in Pennsylvania. As for that care facility in New Jersey, where Lee Rapasha's mother died, the owners now face a $220,000 fine for its handling of the outbreak, but it's too late for Rapasha's family.
We had always thought we'd be there for her when she died, and we weren't. And I think that's the worst part. We weren't there for her. We couldn't be, and I hope she knows that. I hope she knows how much we loved her and how much we tried to come be with her. I hope she didn't feel alone.
And coming up next, remdesivir has been the go-to for treating those with COVID-19, but is there enough to go around? We're going to tell you coming up next.
This is NBC6 News Local Midday Update.
Welcome back. Your health matters, and in Shreveport, healthcare workers are speaking out for the safety of themselves and their co-workers. Members of the employee union at the Overton Brooks VA Medical Center say they are protesting for those working inside the hospital. The protest is aimed at getting a meeting with hospital leaders to address their concerns. They say employees deserve hazard pay for being on the front lines of the pandemic, and they point out getting new personal protective equipment for those who work inside the facility is not easy. Meanwhile, the federal government is announcing a plan for rationing remdesivir, the only drug so far that has shown some promise as a treatment for severe coronavirus patients. A shortage of the drug is now putting hospitals in a tough position. CNN's Elizabeth Cohen has more.
Remdesivir, the only drug that's been shown in a large, rigorous study to fight COVID-19. Given limited supplies, the federal government has been doling it out. Some hospitals getting less than they need, others getting none.
New York State is working with HHS, Health and Human Services on the federal side, administering it to 2,900 people at 15 hospitals.
The federal government has given New York enough remdesivir for 2,900 patients. But there are about 7,262 coronavirus patients in New York hospitals. That same situation playing out around the country. This vial from the first shipment of remdesivir received last week by Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, where Dr. Rochelle Walensky is chief of infectious diseases.
We know that the doses of this drug that we are going to get are not going to be enough to treat every patient that we have in the hospital now.
So they've had to make decisions about who gets remdesivir and who doesn't.
This was hard.
At Mass General, they have about 200 patients with the virus, and they have enough remdesivir for only 65 patients. And more patients are being admitted every day, and doctors don't know when they'll get more of the drug. Mass General's decision, a hospital committee, not the patient's doctor, decides who gets it.
This is not how we like to practice medicine.
But she says it's the most equitable way to do it.
It's nearly an impossible situation to be in medicine when you think that there's something you could and should be doing for somebody and you don't have it to give.
The federal government has never explained how they decided which hospitals would receive remdesivir and how much.
This drug is promising, and we want to get it to the American people and to the areas that need it most.
Saturday, the federal government said in addition to sending remdesivir to hospital, they'd also sent to some state health departments and intend eventually to send it to all state health departments. But they haven't said how much they'll send to each state or their formula for determining those amounts.
This administration, of course, doesn't believe in transparency, but healthcare providers need to know about this.
Representative Lloyd Doggett runs the House Ways and Means Health Subcommittee and has been following the remdesivir rollout.
It has been bungled from the very beginning.
And now doctors trying to do their best to allocate this scarce resource.
Well, stay with us. We're telling you how you could win $1,000 coming up next. But first, we're taking a look outside with our Louisiana Tower Cam. Josh has your final check of the weather when we return.
This is NBC6 News Local Midday Update.
Welcome back. Would you like to win a $100,000. Well, soon you'll have that chance. KTL NBC6 is teaming up with the organizers of Mudbug Madness to bring you Swepco's Mudbug Madness Treasure Hunt. Beginning next Friday during NBC6 News at 10, we're going to give you a clue to help you find that treasure. We'll also post that clue on our website, arklatex-homepage.com, and the Arklatex homepage app. The treasure hunt is replacing this year's Mudbug Madness Festival, and the annual festival was set for Memorial Day weekend but was postponed until 2021 due to the COVID-19 outbreak. And on that note, we're sending it back to Josh for a final look at our forecast.
Well, here's the final check of your forecast, as we will see those scattered showers and storms for the next week or so. It looks like an ominous 7-day forecast, but it will be off and on rain. It's not going to be an all-day rain or a washout, and you see just those 20, 30, 40% rain chances. Likely highest rain chances will be during the afternoon and evening over the next week or so, and the severe weather threat looks low. But of course, all these storms will have frequent lightning as well as some gusty winds, so make sure you stay up to date with the forecast as we continue through the rest of the week.
Midday update. We're going to see you back here at 12:30 tomorrow. Have a terrific Tuesday and stay safe.
Your weather authority and the Ray Ford Thunder Truck, driven by the most accurate forecast in the Arklatex.